Welcome to Tribal Wars, people. This is it. Big night. Let's have it. Grade 7s, you are here for one reason and one reason only. You want to know who won Survivor Tribal Wars Primary School Edition. Is that right? Yeah. All right, let's hear it. Who do you think took it? Who do you think took it? Are you sure? All right, well, I cannot wait to get tonight going. We are excited to have you. A warm welcome from myself. I'm Stefan Klein, and honestly, in my dreams, I'm probably a Survivor presenter. But tonight, I've got the honor of hosting you here at the GLA Open Evening for Grade 7s. Now, to get things on, we've prepared a stage for you. Rare is it that you have the opportunity to be at a tribal council of Survivor Tribal Wars. And tonight, we've got a special treat. Will you join me as we bring in the survivors, the castaways of Tribal Wars, Jeffreys Bay? Come on in, guys. It looks like some of you got your torches snuffed even before getting to Tribal Council. This is our castaways. We've got Luke right on the front left-hand side, Princess, we've got Mia Geswind, and then it might be confusing, but we've got another Mia O'Neill next to her. Back row, we've got Cassie, Alistair in the middle, and Mr. Beck. They are your castaways tonight at this Tribal Council. We're going to get right into the grit of things. So, we are here for two reasons. Grade 7s are here because they want to know who won Tribal Wars Jeffreys Bay. But the parents are here because you are helping make that decision on which high school to attend. And I'm going to start right there with giving you an overview of GLA and the passion, the heart, the purpose that the Lord has called us for within the sphere of education. And we're going to get right into that. So, I'd like to start us off years ago. In 2006, we were still young. I was young. But Anne-Marie Franken invited about 10 South Africans on what was the very first global challenge. We set out with our backpacks on a mission trip with 20 countries. It was still a paper flight ticket those days, only our backpacks. And we entered into a journey of faith, of serving the nations, sharing the gospel, and living a simplistic lifestyle. There was no entitlement. Like, seriously, we asked for, if there's any leftovers, chicken or beef, whatever was left over after flight, we asked for that because we knew that would last us the next 2 days. Or peanuts was another one that was a favorite. But no entitlement, traveling in faith. And as we traveled in that year, the Lord did something in our own hearts. And it's something of that DNA that we want to invite you into tonight when we tell the story of Global Leadership Academy. So for you to have a real understanding what that year entails of faith, have a look. If we were marketing that tonight, I wonder how many parents would say yes. For themselves, I'm sure. But for their grade 7 child, I'm not so sure. But what we want to try and do in GLA is actually prepare your child for a life of adventure, a life of meaning, a life of purpose, with two very simple guardrails: making disciples, shaping leaders. Those are the two legs that lead whatever initiative we take as a school going forward. Are we making a disciple out of this child, and are we shaping them as a leader? Just a fun note, that there is Mr. Paul du Plessis. Now, you see him jump. He's also the jumper on our official logo. And unfortunately, moments after this photo was taken, he broke his ankle. And for the next few months, he wasn't a global challenger like all the rest, running and jumping of stuff. But that was quite a high jump. And he's still a senior staff member with us and a great example to our kids. So back in 2009, the headlines in Jeffreys Bay read, "High School on Hold." Now, I do want to start there, but I do want to say very clearly, we didn't start a high school to just provide a grade 12 matric certificate and education for high school kids. That is the Department of Education's responsibility. But at that same time, the Lord was speaking in our hearts a desire to transfer that what He did on a global challenge, giving that opportunity to high school kids. And so at a staff meeting one weekend, we took the step of faith to say we're going to start the school. Now, when we asked Anna-Marie, this was September 2009, we asked her, "Anne, when do you think we should start it?" And she said, "January 2010, 4 months later." So that's kind of the risk that was in our DNA, that sense of adventure. And a group of young people said, "Yes, let's do it." And so in October of 2009, this was the headline on the Our Times newspaper. Some of you might still remember that newspaper. I don't know, it doesn't exist anymore. But Cindy Liebenberg gave us the front page. And she said, "Okay, we'll say, high school is here." I said, "Cindy, the only problem is we don't have a contact number. We don't have a name for the school. We don't have even an application form. But I promise you, give us the front page, and next week we'll pay for an advert and we'll make sure all of that is in the advert." And she said yes, on that journey of faith. A couple of weeks later, our first evening, similar to tonight, rainy night, at the Fist Wave, and there was a handful of parents. But there was one parent standing in front, in the rain, kind of on the side of the building, and I approached him and asked, "Are you looking for the marketing for the new school?" He says, "Yes, my daughter sent me," because she saw the advert, and she said, "Dad, the Lord has answered my prayers. He has started the school for me. You better go find out." And so he was there on that rainy evening. And then the Lord, through a couple of miracles, gave us the opportunity to start our school in a shopping center, Equinox Mall. That's where we started. Half of that building was mothballed. There was only the Checkers and a couple of other buildings. And they wanted, of course, people there as potential shoppers. And they said yes to a crazy 15,000 Rand a month for the first year lease agreement. And we opened there. We got the building on the 1st of January. And you can see here, we had to gather all the community, all the global challengers that were in Jeffreys Bay. Some of you might recognize yourselves on those pictures, because some of you are actually parents now of grade 7s. But everybody jumped in. If you really look on the one, there's Mr. Oosthuizen, he's washing the floor. Meneer Du Plessis, he put up the whiteboard in his class and then took a rest. Mr. Young, he's our English teacher. He was reading poetry out of the hammock. And that was the first picture of our actual first academic staff meeting. And you can see the growing concern there on every Young's face as she, not so sure if everybody's catching her drift on this. But that's your first staff of GLA back in 2010. That was just before the doors opened. We said, let's take a nervous picture. And everybody smiled. And then we welcomed about 60 young kids with their parents outside the doors of Equinox Mall on that first morning. Now, what's precious about this, let me just maybe share this. A shopping mall doors works like this. You have to take a step of faith towards them, and then only do they open. And that was something that the Lord did in our own hearts. We had to start the school without saying, yes, we're going to start without a name, without a contact number, without even the shopping mall at this stage having an agreement. But as we said yes to that step of what the Lord asked us for, He opened the doors. And I think very much similar to you here tonight also, you're at that same place where you're having to take a step of faith. Trust that you've heard the voice of the Lord. And I just want to say tonight, you can know with confidence that if you ask the Lord Jesus Christ, He will answer you with regards to which high school to choose from. So that was our first day, and you can see some of the parents there. I love this picture because you can see worry. Like some parents are doubting their decision. Why did we sign our kids up for a school in the shopping mall? Like you guys have it easy. You've got an established school here. We've set out a stage. We've got kids that said, listen, you can trust these guys. But back then, who would sign their kids up for a school in the mall? I think we still have parents here with, I know there is one. Yeah, there's a hand who signed up their child for that first day. So we made a lot of it. Had some balloons up. But I want to show you the next picture. That picture shows the first students walking through the doors. And you know the lady in the front, Nolu? You know who she is? She's the child that read the newspaper and told her father, go to the First Wave and help me out. This is a school that the Lord has sent. Now, Nolo is currently a senior staff member at Jeffreys Bay Comprehensive. She's a teacher there and a leader in her sphere. But on that first meeting, we welcomed everybody. And again, just want to welcome you again here as, you know, those parents that's at the point of taking a new step of faith. But you're taking it into a school that's been formed through the Word of God. And I'd like to share with you a prophetic word that the Lord spoke over us in March 2010. No school closed then. We were still finding our feet. And Joe Ewan came to us and he just prayed this over us. And I'm going to read it with you. For I'm going to build something that will be a model, a light set on a hill. It will be a model for many others to come and look at and draw from. As they begin to see light shed and changes take place, politicians will come. Many people will come from near and far to inquire of me. You will see the hope I place within you carried throughout this nation and to other nations around you. You are at a key place in history. It is a defining moment. Now this one is for you grade 7s. You will form leaders, world leaders, leaders of nations, leaders of cities and towns. Out of this group of grade 7s sitting here from different primary schools, the Lord will call you to be future leaders of nations, of cities and towns. This word isn't for anybody else but you guys sitting here in front of me this evening. I have called you to raise up apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors and teachers, and in turn they will begin to teach others and bring people into unity. That's again you grade 7s. You will become apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors and teachers. Don't take lightly what you are doing on my behalf. I embrace what you have become, and what you have begun, I will finish it, says the Lord. So there's a beautiful promise for you worrying about when is this school going to get sport fields, or when is this school. Well, the Lord says He will finish the work that He started. And I'd like to share some of those ways in which the Lord answered and is in our process of accomplishing the things that He set out for us. So in April of 2010, we submitted an application to the developers of Fountains Estate, which includes Fountains Mall, Polyclinics, the Sands, all of that. And they invited us for a meeting, a sit-down meeting. And Marie put on her scarf, and we drove down to Dries de Pre. And he then shared that they, as a Buchner Prop West development, decided to give us 5.5 hectares of land for free to build the school. So from that meeting, Anna Marie and myself, we drove up here. We met Mike. He showed us this piece of land that we're sitting on tonight. It was just a vacant farmland. And then from here, we drove down to the mall, and we called all the teachers out of the classrooms. I promise you, while I'm principal, we'll never do that. But back then, Ms. McFarlane said that's a good plan. We called all of the teachers into her office, And I'd like to invite you into this moment when they heard the news that this land was donated to us. Have a look.
In my hande hou ek 5 hektaar die rand van 'n wildlife estate, dat reeds 'n bokkie daar wat ons nou
U doen die onmoontlik.
ja.
En ons gee vir u alle eer en dank, Here. Here, ons is net so in awe. Ons kan nie anders as om net ja. Dank.
Die grootheid ken geen perke nie. Ons maak die naam groot en ons sê vir jammer dat ons getwyfel het, maar dankie dat jy vir ons deurgekom het.
Dis gedoen, Here, ons
So I show that not lightly. It shows, we had a similar experience with the current staff a few months ago, where their response on news like this just showed you their hearts and their commitment. Their belonging isn't here just for the sake of being a teacher, but they've bought into the vision and the heart of GLA. Something that I invite you to as well, as a future parent, future GLAer, to really embrace the vision and the plans that the Lord has for us. So in September 2011, we received the title deed, and we stood outside here, and this is Johan McFarlane and Mariki McFarlane, the first principal. And her husband stood here and he said, if there's ever anything that's constructed or developed on this piece of land, it will be a testimony that the Lord exists, because none of us have the means, the expertise and nothing here that we can even give to develop this land. And so the fact that we're sitting here tonight in this marvelous building, I just want to just utter those words again. It is a testimony that the Lord provides, that from that 2011 to 2026, we're able to tell the stories that you will hear tonight. We set out in faith to build the second Canadian Button Pass log home in Africa. We saw it in Wilderness, and Roy Trembroth, the developer, he said, okay, send a couple of guys for a crash course in how to build a log home. And 4 of us went, those who had the least amount of periods, because you still had to teach and then you had to come and construct the rest of the day. And we ordered these logs out of Knysna. And now, if you know anything about log homes, you have to build them with tree trunks, which the bark has been debarked quite early after they've been cut off. Now, our problem was when those trucks, the joy that we had soon just like dissipated, because we realized all of these logs have a bark on them. And so for the next month, every volunteer, every person that we knew, every teacher that had an off period, we would come and we would chop away on those barks, and eventually we could start building on the log home. We dug the foundation, and then Umdani, there's the foundation, and Umdani Mare, that was his last log. He said, I can't go higher than that. But he spent a lot of time here because he was just teaching accounting, and he just had one class. And then within about 2 or so years, that first log home became the site office. It became a place for accommodation. It also became our offices for a couple of years. And then to build this building, we had to, of course, acquire bricks. And again here, the Lord provided. On the way to Langkloof Bricks, we felt the Holy Spirit say, ask for these bricks. And so when we met with Nico Blake, that was our request. We said, Mr. Blake, would you consider donating 500,000 bricks? And I remember Nico almost fell off his chair. And he's like, no, definitely not. We haven't done anything like we've given in other ways. But the moment that we start donating bricks, everybody will be lining up. You know what? 2 weeks later, Nico Blake phoned and he said, as a family, we've decided we're going to give all the bricks that you need for phase 1, which is basically every brick that you see here tonight was donated by Langkloof Bricks. They didn't have a child in the school. They had no reason to do so. But we just honor the Lord for providing that. And then at the same time, the Volkswagen plant just across Fountains Mall, they were constructing Dirk Ellis Volkswagen, and at the same time, we were digging our foundations, and the contractor phoned. He said, listen, we've got a big problem on this Volkswagen plant. We've got aggregate about 200 millimeters too much that's been compacted on the site. We need to remove it. We need a place to dump. You're the closest. Would you accept it? And if you know anything about construction, under all of these floors, we need expensive aggregate. And so we said yes on that call. And you see the color of that aggregate? Truckloads was delivered in that next week. And look what goes under the floors, the same colored aggregate under all the floors that you are sitting on tonight. Again, the Lord providing for us miraculously. And then because we had the bricks, we were able to start building on this building. We raised about 30,000 rand a month for labor, wages, and cement. For the next few years, we didn't spend any money on civil works, on windows, doors, nothing. We just built with what we had, which was the bricks. And so 2015, you can see here the building now really close to completion and still only on 30,000 rand a month. And there were parents that would come in on a Friday and give 100 rand. Every Friday they would give their 100 rand at the office coming from work. Or parents that, we had students on a Friday afternoon, they would come, they would pack out the bricks. Monday morning, the guys, the bricklayers would be like, there was fairies over the weekend because they don't have to carry all the bricks to where they're going to build. So, absolute community initiative. And then, in the last few months, we had to really push, and we had again the whole of Jeffreys Bay, primary school kids come and also volunteer here. And then in September 2016, we asked the whole school to take off their socks, and we walked like you walked in from school beans down this corridor, right into this space. And Anna Marie led us into a time of dedication and thanking the Lord, for He did a miracle by completing this building. You can still see there at the back the wheelbarrow. That's how close we were to moving in from that weekend's last work. And today, the first day of 2026, we are 480 kids from grade 8 to 12, 4 classes in each grade, 2 English, 2 Afrikaans, and absolute privilege to be able to welcome you into this story. So I'd like to get to a little bit deeper stuff with you tonight, because there's the admin and you all got the prospectus. You can read a lot of that. But I want to highlight a couple of things, and my team here, my castaways, they're going to help me out. And the big question is, I'm going to ask parents, do you understand your teenager? That's a question that we have to ask if we are equipping young people for their futures. And I'd like to ask the castaways here, Luke, I've known you for many years now. What is the question that young people struggle with, deal with, and that they want an answer to?
The purpose of their life. I think many teenagers are struggling finding what is their reason of being alive. And to be frank, I do not know. And I think a lot of people don't know, and everyone might be struggling with that question. But I believe as you grow older and live your life, I think you'll find an answer in your own way.
Thanks, Luke. Do you resonate with those two questions, grade 7s? You can say, yes, that's me. I'm asking, what is the purpose of it all? What's my role in it? Is that true? Is that your biggest question? Or is it just, Mom, why is there not cake in the fridge? That's also an important question. But I think there are real questions that we have to address if we're going to raise up future leaders. So I'd like to tell you a story, because we have to ask also, where is this next generation of leaders going to come from? And there's a fact that I'd like to share with you. Now, I didn't come up with this fact, but it is a fact that currently on earth, if you take the entire history of mankind, from Adam and Eve till today, all the people that lived throughout history, that number of people is currently living on the earth as we are sitting here. And so Jesus and God needs in this generation all the Moseses, the Daniels, the Ruths, the Esthers, all of those biblical leaders that we know of that lived over all of those generations. He needs in this generation. He doesn't need social media influencers. He needs leaders that will lead with integrity, character, and that's value-based. And so the requirement for us to partake in that is essential. If you're a parent tonight, you have to understand it. That my child needs to be raised, equipped to become a future leader, whether they're just leading their own families or nations, but that is an answer that we have to answer. Now, if I ask you, Mia, it's your face up there, Mia O'Neill, grade 11, 2026. Just talk a bit about your own development as a leader, just briefly.
So I wasn't a born and raised leader. I wasn't someone who's able to go up to people and direct them into the right ways. I was just someone who was just there. You know, I come from a homeschool environment. I don't know what to do, how to do what. So when I joined JLA, I was so lost because there were so many programs and so many experiences and opportunities. They're just throwing at me left, right, and center. I'm like, what do I do? But fast forward to grade 11, we have a leadership program. And within this leadership program, you get taught many, many things. But it's not just a leadership program. It's like travel school, it's Survivor, it's the Vision Tour. JLA will put you into these experiences and environments that really pushes you to a way that you will never be the same again, but in the best way possible. You're going to be a changed heart. You're going to be someone who wants to lead people on, wants to turn people into the right ways because you have a passion for it.
Thank you for sharing. I've seen you mature. I had the privilege of doing a couple of things with you, and I can really see that you are developing as a young leader with such potential. So to model leadership and to model authentic lives, we base 5 values that we emphasize within Global Challenge, but also within Global Leadership Academy. And it is seeking the Lord, loving others, serving, obeying, and sharing. Those are the 4 values that we really underpin within the school. Alistair, is there any of those that resonate with you as a value?
If I had to pick one, sir, it would be serving. I come from an online school environment where everything was about me. It was just me, myself, and I. And being here, I've learned to serve others. My friends have inspired me by the way they live their lives. And it's given me confidence to go out, but a confidence with humility to go and serve others and not just live for myself.
Princess, you also are someone that I see living out these values. Which one stands out for you?
For me, it has to be love, sir. You know, I have this deep care about people ever since I was a little kid. You know, I would love to continue to pour out that love that Jesus has put into my heart with other people.
Thank you. So I think if you look at those values, they are embedded within making disciples, shaping leaders. And we're only going to be able to do that if we create environments where kids can actually explore and start practicing these values for themselves. Now, the thing is, this doesn't come without risk. I think it was 2-3 months ago, it was still summer, the ambassadors, many of them sitting here, we put to them the task of coming up with a night market that they completely organized themselves. They had external vendors, they had different stores, they did the marketing for it. And there's a bit of a risk because it's a public event. People from outside is coming. But we have to be able as a school and willing to take that risk to entrust kids. That was probably one of the most relaxed events I've ever attended because none of the staff had anything to do. It was fully done by the grade 11s. And so we're going to look at a couple of those events that I think stand out for our kids to get to. But before we do so, I just want to emphasize our academics for you to have understanding of that. So GLA is an independent high school, registered with the Department of Education. We're fully Umalusi accredited. What that offers us is that we can create, unrestricted, we can create the environment in which we want learners to be developed. We are outspoken followers of Jesus. We've said clearly we're going to make disciples, shape leaders. And the academics, honestly, if you're within our staff meetings, it is really, although you'll see now we do very well, it's not our emphasis, it's not our focus to achieve academically. I believe it's actually a fruit on the labor of making disciples and shaping leaders. And so we've had the privilege of having consistent achievements within academics, which I will look at just a bit later. With regards to subject choices, we are the only school in this area that will give your child the opportunity to choose between an academic stream and a technical stream. We launched the technical education stream in 2025 with a grade 10 class. Those kids are currently in grade 11. They will be grade 12, of course, next year. But a student in between grade 8 and 9, all schools, exactly the same curriculum. But then we offer the opportunity for a child to either pursue the technical stream or the academic stream. Both of these will finish you off with the NSC matric certificate. Both of them will be fully accredited. The only difference is in the technical stream you would have been equipped within technical education. And you can pursue careers within engineering, within architecture, within electronics, within civil, within construction. You could actually go and probably sign up for a job also yourself. That's how well we intend to equip you. So schools with technical streams would be Daniel Pienaar Technical High School in Newtownhague, Newton Tech in Port Elizabeth, just for you to compare yourself. But your child has that same opportunities within GLA. And then within the academic stream, we also have an array of subjects. I think you will find it very difficult to find any subject choice that compares with the options a child has within, because there's still arts, drama, visual arts. You've got your business study, you've got your IT subjects, engineering, graphics, and design on both. You've got your physical sciences, your life sciences. So there's plenty of opportunities for learners to excel. Now, we recently constructed our new technical expansion wing at the back. Because of the rain, we said, let's keep people indoors, but I took some pictures for you so that you just have an experience of what those classes look like. So we've got a fully equipped civil technology classroom. Mr. Conradi there is the teacher. They've got their workbenches sorted out, and these students are equipped within the field of civil technology, civil construction. And then, of course, to underpin your technical stream, we had to expand our engineering, graphics, and design division. We currently can cater for up to 34 kids in a grade within that classroom. And it's a very exciting subject. It's one that I also love teaching whenever I have the opportunity. But this subject is, of course, available in the academic as well as in the technical stream. And then the electrical classroom, for the electrical technology, brand new classroom. You can see the teacher there put up some greenery. You have Anne-Louise Skeppers that's heading that department within the electrical field. But let's look at some of the history of GLA with regards to achievements, just for the sake of those of you who are needing that to convince you to choose GLA. So we opened in 2010. And these are just a couple of key milestones. In 2012, we had our very first grade 12 class. So we started with the grade 10 class, and then they progressed to grade 12. They graduated with 100% matric pass rate. We were very grateful for that first pass. In 2018, Heather Diego was recognized as the best performing, well, firstly, the school as the best performing high school, and then also, Heather Diego was the top achiever in the Eastern Cape. 2016, we moved to this campus, and then 2018 was Heather's achievement. And then in 2021, Zoe Atlam again did the same that Heather did. I think she just came third within the province. That was 2021. And then Laurian in 2023, he was the best performing grade 12 student within independent schools, and he achieved the full scholarship to study at Stellenbosch University. Those who know him, he got a laptop and a full scholarship, even accommodation included. And then in 2024, Zander upped his sister from 2021, and he became the best performing student within government and independent schools, and the school was also rated as the best performing high school And he also got a full scholarship to study, and that is awarded through the Department of Education. And then in 2025, we made the decision to expand into technical stream of education, and again, a Best Performing High School Award for Sarah Bartman and for independent schools. And then in 2026, beginning of this year, we opened the new Technical Education Center. So let's get to what sets us apart, because a lot of what I've said up to now you could find at most high schools. But what makes GLA different? And I'm going to include my castaways again here on the side. There's a couple of things that I believe you won't find anywhere else. And one of the first things is the retail ROI video calls. Since 2015, our students on a Wednesday afternoon in room 12 have the opportunity to sit with top executives from the United States, and they're able to have a Zoom call, ask their questions, hear the life story, gain that life experience that is just really precious for these young kids dreaming of futures within business. Out of this, we actually embarked on a vision tour where we took a group of young people to the United States last year, and Alistair here, he was part of that group. There they are at the Lincoln Memorial. Alistair, just share some highlights of the vision tour to the United States.
Well, if you guys think of a school tour, think bigger and then think unimaginable, and that's the vision tour. We did things that we'll never get to do again, you know. I mean, there we are sitting in the US Embassy for South Africa, and I don't know how the school did it. I don't know how they arranged all of this, but it was an incredible experience, something that I'll always carry with me.
Talk about, because he did a pitch. Just talk about that pitch quickly.
So one of the opportunities I was given was to prepare and give a pitch at the New Balance headquarters in Boston. And it was an incredible moment for me to speak to them and to grow. And yeah, it was my first time in front of business people like that, and it was incredible.
Did you manage to sell your idea to them or not?
I spoke about the comrades and about New Balance. So I think I got through to them, but I'm still waiting for an offer.
So another opportunity that we've presented to learners is Free Market Fridays, where there's Fridays that's been set out, and you can actually come and you can pitch whatever thing you want to design or make or sell. You can sell it to the school. Some kids have sold cake every Friday or every Free Market Friday, and they've raised over their high school career up to 50,000 Rand. So this is something that you can, as a young person going on all these different tours, help your father or mother fundraise by actually joining Free Market Fridays, being an entrepreneur, learn from your business mistakes in a safe environment. Another thing that, of course, a lot of you attended previously was our trolley race, but I love to see how kids take ownership and you know, kids step out and they're creative. They rally behind a brand. A lot of them actually started off their GLA journey being in the trolley race. I wonder how many great kids in the audience has been in a trolley race for GLA, like you were a co-driver or something. A couple of you. Good job. So this might be your next opportunity. One thing that I do believe is important is to create opportunities for student-led initiatives. There's no way that a school can offer every possible extracurricular, but it gives opportunity for kids to actually take ownership. Here is a story of Maylee that came to me at her grade 7 interview, going to grade 8, and in that interview already said, "Mr. Klein, do you have hip-hop at GLA?" I said, "No, Maylee." She said, "Can I start it once I'm here?" And we offered her the support, the space, all of it for free. And Maylee, she's now in grade 12, but she established a fully functioning hip-hop dance school in this space every Monday and Wednesday afternoon. And at some point, she was actually getting kids from primary schools to come and pay to have her as a coach. This year, she stepped down a bit because she's focusing on grade 12, but now another grade 8 stepped up, and she started a dance academy within the school. So I do want to encourage students that these opportunities for you to take initiative, to come up with your own initiatives, that support you can be sure of from me. When we get to shaping leaders, there's a couple of initiatives that's specific to shaping leaders within GLA, and I'm going to quickly run you through those. The travel school is probably our premier leadership development opportunity for students. And Mia O'Neill, you were with me getting on that chicken bus in Brazil last year. Just share a little bit on your own experience on what did it mean to you sitting here this evening.
So travel school is, to sum it up for you, it's 1 month away from your parents. You are embarking on a completely new journey with some people who might be your friends, some people you haven't even spoken to, but it's people in your grade. Now you're thinking you are going to have no personal space for 1 month. And that scares me. That really scared me. I've never been away longer than a weekend from my parents. So saying yes to this journey of travel school was a hectic decision to make. But I'm sitting here now, I'm so grateful I made it because, as I mentioned earlier, you get put into such circumstances and experience where you become a different person within your heart. So being able to embark for that 1 month, I came back and I was a different person. And I wouldn't wish to go back to who I was because this is really amazing. I mean, everywhere you go, your heart just smiles when you see people and helping others. But travel school is a definite experience that every JLA student should be able to embark on.
Thank you. So that's actually 2023. We were in Kenya and Masailand, and because of the expensive flight tickets, we're going back there this year. So within a month from now, this current grade 10s have the opportunity to go to Kenya and Zanzibar for their own travel school. Mia Geswind, you're currently head girl in GLA, and you've been through the grade 11 leadership program as well. You did survive with a couple of other things. What has specifically been for you important in your own development from grade 8 to now as a leader?
Walking into the doors when you first enter the school, you're coming from a primary school where you were a top grade, and now you're coming, and I don't want to say you're at the bottom of the pyramid, but you're starting new again, and you're working your way up. And being in the school, as I work my way up, I start to realize more about myself. I start to learn more about myself. And once we hit the grade 11 leadership program, that is when you really get to test your servantry, really get to see who you are as a person. And what it does, it doesn't reshape you in any way. It just brings out a part of you that is really incredible to see, a part of you that you didn't know you wanted to know. But once you got to, you never wanted to leave that part. And seeing how far I've come, being with the amazing team I have now, being with the school I have now, I would never go back.
If I look at how she and Alistair has led the school up to now, on Monday, they completely led assembly. There was no teacher nearby. And through your leadership, you're doing such a good job. Congratulations. If we go on to our weekly tutoring, so every Monday to Thursday, students from GLA have the opportunity to visit a tutoring center here in Jeffreys Bay where they can help with maths and English. And these opportunities, again, on a regular basis, shapes learners. This theme here tonight is tribal wars, but we actually have an actual Survivor Tribal Wars, and a lot of you have been on that. Just give the people an idea what it's like doing a Tribal Wars, Daniel.
To summarize it, it's actually pretty difficult because you're sleeping in the open, it's freezing, you're eating rice for 5 days, you're starving, but if you set all that aside, and on top of that, it's one of the best experiences I've ever had, because you compete in challenges, and by winning those challenges, not only do you get points, but you also increase the luxury of sleeping on the ground. But yeah, what it really helped me with is that if I'm facing a challenge, it's helped me realize that I don't have to face it by myself, but I can actually depend on the people around me to actually help me and get through it.
So I'll say something that Daniel won't say. In their season, which is currently on our YouTube page of Global Leadership Academy, they were guys versus girls. And you'll have to go see who made the best fires, and who found the most clues, and who won the most challenges. That made for some entertaining viewing. Thank you, Mr. Beck, for sharing that. If we look at making disciples, shaping leaders, what's on offer at GLA is a list of activities that is really set on discovering also who Jesus made you to be. Ignite If we quickly run through that, that's on Thursday evenings, right here at school. A great event for teenagers to meet the Lord, worship together, fellowship together. And then there's the Mighty Men Hike, the annual Mighty Men Hike, where they head down the coast to Jeffreys Bay. And then we recently, just a few weeks ago, had our night school. Let's have a look at what happened as we ended off night school this year. We might play church clap at the end just to see if you can all do that dance. But what an amazing night with our students. And then we have, of course, different school camps throughout your career. But the one thing that I think stands out and that kids look back at as a highlight of their GLA career is D groups. Every child in the school is divided into a small group led by either a teacher or someone that we've chosen to lead these kids. And they sit on a weekly basis to discover life, read the Bible, pray over each other. Now, I've had the privilege, that young man at the end, Luke, has been in my D group now for many years. And won't you just share a little bit on your own journey, where you are at and what you feel the Lord is leading you towards?
Yeah, of course. It's lovely being in your D groups specifically because we would get a free cup of coffee in between periods. It's also a nice time just to have a break from everything, whether that's math or physics or whatever. And we get to learn about each other, what we're doing in the week, and of course we go over the Gospels, right? And it can really be an eye-opener and change the way you think.
For Luke there and many of the others, of course, sitting here, the Lord has such a special plan and a purpose for your lives. Thank you for sharing that. We're wrapping it up. GLA is a community where we really want to be sure that kids belong. It's a safe space. A lot of people entering here has that experience. And we really want to cultivate a place that's safe and transparent, which is built on relationship, where you as a parent and as a student know there's an open door. If there's anything that concerns you, any idea, if you have a bright idea, come and share it with us. But there's really something here of wanting to build community, not just have a school that's distant, but really opportunity for you to join us in educating your child. What have you experienced, Princess, in that regard with regards to belonging?
GLA has offered me a community where I feel safe to be myself. You know, I can never feel like I have to pretend to be somebody else. They always welcome me the way that I am. You know, I feel loved, I feel cared for. I can leave my home and my family knowing that when I come here, that there are people who love me so much that they truly will go far and beyond for me. You know, it's not just a place to educate, but it's a place to have a community, have a place whereby I know that if I'm here, that I'm truly okay, that I'm truly going to be loved the same way that God intended for me to be loved.
Was it easy to come in here as a grade 8 on the first day?
It was nerve-wracking, but as you learn, the people learn to see the people around you and getting to know the teachers, it gets really, really easy, and it feels like walking on air.
Thank you. So if we look at the extracurricular activities at GLA, I think we all know how important this is. And as a school, we've really grown in this area. We're offering to students opportunities where they can develop themselves, whether it's in the winter or in the summer. If we look at the list of activities there that's offered by GLA, from archery all the way through, there's cultural activities as well as sport activities. And then there's a bunch of student-led initiatives that is fully supported within the schooling environment. I've got a picture up here of a young man that's shown himself quite a rugby player over the last few years. Cassie, vertel, ons gaan dit sommer in Afrikaans doen. Wat is vir jou die groei wat jy ervaar het binne jou sport wat jy so lief is voor?
Jo, meneer, vir my, wanneer ek in die skool ingekom het, was ons skaars rugby span en nou deesdae het ons 'n junior en 'n senior span. Ons word uitgenooi om proewe te gaan speel, om op jou span te kan gemaak. So moenie dink omdat jy vir GLA gaan speel, jy gaan uitmis op die geleentheid om Kruiwenweek of Grand Como te speel nie.
Ja. En sê net so vinnig, is daai toe jy 3 gaan druk het nou teen Daniel Pinaar?
Nee, in hierdie een nie, maar ek het wel gedink.
I think the other thing that I wanted to say about sport is, sometimes it becomes very difficult to get a first team, like to reach the first team, and to get those opportunities of a first team. We want to be a competitive school that plays against schools in leagues that you can be proud of. But to do that, we need every child to partake, whether it's netball or tennis or rugby or whatever sport that is. When you come to GLA, there's the expectation that you will participate, that you will sign up, that you'll be the one to say, yes, I'm going to partake. So hear that from me now, because when we have the interviews, I'm definitely going to be asking you, and I'm going to ask you to commit to the sport that you say to us that you will be partaking in, because we want to see well-rounded individuals. Remember, there's no way that we can develop your child only from 8 o'clock till 2 o'clock. Then you're going to get an academic giant at home, okay? But we want to have a well-rounded child that can play, that can enjoy themselves, that's physically strong, and that learns team dynamics. And so really, parents on that side, please help us in facilitating an active child, even if it means that extra trip to school in the afternoons to pick them up. Our commitment that you can be sure of, just want to highlight a couple of things. We're an independent school. We are clearly focused. We've got clear values. We know who we are. We know where we're heading towards, and you're invited on that journey. And I want to emphasize the fact that there's a relational approach to who we are and to this journey with you and your child. A couple of the practicalities that you want to maybe take note of. So the financial policy for GLA, we are a self-funded independent school. So there's a minimum subsidy that we'll show just now, but we are registered, fully registered with the Department of Education and with Department of Social Development. We're Umalusi accredited. 87% of our income is through school fees. And then 10% from fundraisers, and at this stage the government subsidy keeps going in the wrong direction, and that's at 3% of our annual budget. So really not even something that we're considering when we're doing our budget. Then the current school fees is 2,750 Rand per month over 12 months. If you pay by the 8th of February, you can get a 2.5% discount on the total amount. And then we do have some scholarships, but they are really limited, and there is an application process. If you do need to apply, you're welcome to ask for that application form at the reception when you hand in at the end. Your application process, applications for next year closes on the 31st of May. It's a Sunday, so we're not going to be at school, but you can still email it on that Sunday. But if you want to submit in hand, then please do so on that Friday. We won't have all children tested on baseline tests, but there will be some applications that we will conduct a basic baseline test with. That's on us. We're paying for that, and that will be scheduled telephonically. If you're invited for that, please make sure that you're able to attend either one of those two dates. Then we will have interviews in the first week or so of June, and you will have an answer from us by the 15th of June. Every application will have a direct answer from us and on the outcome of your application. The fact of the matter is, we receive more applications than we're able to accept, so some kids do end up on a waiting list, unfortunately, but there will always be future opportunities to reconsider as spaces open. All right, let me just show you a vision of the future so that you have an idea of what is coming. One of our big emphases at the moment is to expand and actually set out a multi-sport court for our netball, soccer, hockey, and tennis. So that's proposed, and then also the area joining this building with the technical classrooms that's been built, we call it the global lobby. That's also for us the two priorities, is basically completing that circle and the sport facilities that's planned. So all of these plans have been approved already by local municipality. We are just awaiting the funds and fundraising. Not tonight, but we are fundraising actively. Okay, so the question is, if GLA is a school for you, if you're looking for a traditional high school, you're probably going to be disappointed. We don't walk in rows. We have a range of school clothes where you can dress according to your personality. We just got an intercom, so I can't even brag for the fact that we don't have an intercom because we just got one. But it's going to ask of you to come participate. We want you as a young grade 7 to walk out of grade 12 with your head up, knowing that the Lord has a purpose and a plan for your life. And that's only going to happen if you say yes to the things on offer, like these young people did when you enter into GLA. One or two last slides. Parents, I'm just committing again to a relationship with you. We want to raise leaders that impact society. On the back of your prospectus, if you haven't gotten one, it's on the left-hand side there, and there's also application forms if you need to get that. Now to get to business. I wonder which primary school won Tribal Wars. Let's have a look.
Welcome Stilton. In comes Faros. Victory Christian School. This is it, Jeffreys Bay Primary School. In comes the Oak Ridge Academy. Kom in, Laerskool Gamtoesvallei. King's College, welcome to your Tribal Wars. For today's challenge, you'll be competing against each other, but also you'll be competing against every other primary school in the Kouga district. Scattered behind me, there's 5 puzzle pieces in your color. One from each tribe will run across, fetch that puzzle piece, place it on the mat. All 5 pieces needs to be back on the mat. And 2 designated puzzle builders will try and solve a 5-piece survivor puzzle. First team to do so wins reward, and with that the opportunity to actually win the overall game of Survivor Tribal Wars. I'll give you a minute to strategize and we'll get it on. Survivors, ready, go! And the first one for both of these tribes are out. Fetching the large pieces first. Once it's on the mat, the second one can go. Neck in neck at this stage. Next one. Only 2 more puzzle pieces for each. You're good, Kapono. Go for it. You're good, Kaya. They've got no clue how this goes together. 5 pieces has never been this difficult. A lot of movement, but not a lot of progress. Very quickly they realize this isn't going to be as easy as it looks. Kupono tapping out. Kahia now 2 new builders for them. Kupono just taking it steady, 1 puzzle piece at a time. Girls against cross, boys tapping out now. Both tribes doing their best, but not making a lot of progress at this stage. Now the tension is mounting. Pressure is on. This is it. This is what Survivor is all about. You do not give up. Kahia, dink hulle het dit. 1 stuk is uit. Luca now trying to find another piece that's missing. There's nothing. This is only 5-piece puzzle. 5 pieces. Each got their own position. There's only one way everything fits together. Both tribes making good progress. Who will solve it first? Kupono making a confident move. Are they going to be right? Or are they going to bail out? Both tribes only a few moves away from winning this. Who's going to get there first? Keep pushing, don't give up. This is it. Survivor Tribal Wars. Kahia, very close to solving it. Can they figure this out? Kupona, no Bayanabe. Kupona making good progress. This is it for the win. Oak Ridge solves the puzzle and wins reward.
Congratulations to Oak Ridge Academy. Come on up, where's those guys? Come on up, where's that team? Come on, Yosha, where are you? Come, bring your team up. Where's Oak Ridge Academy? Who's going to get your prize? Come on, guys. Oak Ridge Academy, the team that solved the puzzle first. Okay, the problem is you will have to figure out who was the four that actually built the puzzle, because here you are, Wacky Water Park vouchers for you plus friends. So you can take a lot of friends. Sponsored by Fountains Mall. Congratulations. Let's give it up for Oak Ridge Academy. And I must honestly say, it was such a treat to see all of these young people so excited to solve a 5-piece puzzle. Only 5 pieces, and it took a long time for some of you. All right, good job. Thank you so much for coming. The school is still open. Welcome to meet the teachers. This actual puzzle, parents, is right in the corridor. If you can try and solve it within the next few minutes, that would be awesome. Make sure you have some treats. Thank you so much for coming. GLA is going to be a school that has fun. And if you're up for fun, make sure you apply before the 31st of May. We'll still be here if you have any questions. Thank you. Castaways, head on out. Parents, grade 7s, head on out. Thank you.